When you open Geogebra, you're probably going to see a page like this. There are a number of things I do depending on what project I want to work on at this point. Now this is a project where I'm not going to want to see the axes, so I'm going to right click and click on axes so they'll disappear. And I also don't necessarily need to see the algebra window, so I am going to close that one there. So I've just got myself a blank screen. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to import my image. I'm going to do that because I want to work in white, and so in order to be able to see it I'm going to need the image of the background. Well, that's here under that tool there, and we choose image, and we're going to be prompted to look for an image on our computer when we click on the screen. So then I navigate to where my image is, and this is just an image I've called space, and upload that image, and you can see that the image is there for us all. And I can drag the image around and put it into the center of my page where I want to go. Okay, so the central image that I used in the construction was a regular octagon. So let's go to the regular polygon tool, and we'll click once, and then we'll click again, and we can, at this point we can say how many vertices we would like our polygon to have. Okay, we can change some of the features of our shape by double clicking on it and choosing object properties. So I'm going to make it white, and then I'm going to go to style, where I can vary the line thickness. Going to make the line a little bit thicker so it becomes a little bit easier to see. Now I'm just going to make my shape a little bit smaller so that I can fit a few more of them on the page, and I'm going to introduce a point which will be the center of enlargement, which is the central premise behind the construction. And again, I'm going to make that point white so that it looks like a star in the back of my image. Okay, so there's my white point. So now I need, I've got a shape and I've got a center enlargement, and I need a scale factor. So I'm going to introduce the scale factor by adding a slider to the page. So go to the slider tool, then click somewhere away from the image. I'm going to add a slider. I can choose what type of slider I want it to be. I'm quite happy for it to be a number, and I'm quite happy for it to go from -5 to 5 in 0.1s, and of course all that I can change later. It's important that I remember that Geogebra has picked the letter I here as my variable. So now if I make my mouse a pointer, I can change the value of I fairly comfortably. Okay, no problem. Now I've got all the ingredients I need to do the enlargement, so I'll choose the enlargement from the transformations tool there. It's a dilation or enlargement depending on which version of Geogebra you're using, and I would like to dilate that shape using that center enlargement, and the scale factor I would like to use is I, because that was the name of the slider I've got. Okay, now since I is set to 1, the enlargement is just mapped on top of itself. So make my mouse a pointer and I change the value of I. You can begin to see how the rest of this thing is going to come together. Alright, so the next move then, I'll just leave it a little bit more than 1 so I can see it, is I'm going to repeat the exercise and dilate that polygon with that center using I, and each time the dilation I do is going to be based on the image of the previous transformation, so you can begin to see it all coming together there. So dilate that shape using that point and the scale factor I. Okay, so I've just made a few to show you there. If I now make my mouse a pointer and change the value of I, you can see how it's behaving in the same way as in the original construction. And significantly, you can see what happens as the scale factor becomes negative. Okay, good luck.